Everybody ran out of the building, and that's how it went.
That's the end of the story.
Yeah. And before I quit, though, I said, you know what I'd like to do? I like to ferry planes around. So everywhere I went, where they had notices, 2 planes had to go from here to here to here. No matter when I got there, I was like 6th on the list. They only had 2 airplanes. I was 10th on the list. They had 3 airplanes. After a while, I said, you know what? Forget it. My name's on the list for going home. Go home.
Neat. So, so the war ended. You went home. Went to work. What'd you do for a living?
Well, I had the bicycle store in Mineola.
Oh, you had a bicycle store.
Yeah.
Wow.
I opened the bicycle store was there. My father was a very big pinochle player. And one of his friends owned the bicycle store and was getting very old. Okay, it wasn't much of a bicycle store, but it was a bicycle store. So, you know, a kid loves bicycles.
Oh, yeah.
So, I went over there, looked at the place. I said, you know what? I really wanted to open a hardware store, but this looks good. So, I said, all right. So he said, I'll stay with you for a month and teach you everything you gotta know. A week later, he says, you know more than I do. He says, if you need me, call me. If you don't need me, I'm going to take a vacation. So that's what happened.
Neat.
And then bicycle stores never had to look for workers. Kids always came. And the kids that came never asked how much money you got to make. They just said, can I work in a bicycle store? All right?
Right.
So I was one person by myself. And then there was a kid living down the block, and he always started hanging around. I says, Johnny, you can't hang around. If you're going to stay here, you got to sweep the floor, do something. So after he did that for about a month, I says, maybe I should pay this guy. So I gave him some money. So he was with us for a long, long time. And then my brother was 5 years younger than me, and he was in the service, and he figured if I can fly, he can fly. So he joined the Navy, and he soloed, and he made it all the way to Pensacola. And they gave him a uniform, they gave him his books, they gave him everything on Friday. On Monday, when the classes are supposed to stop, somebody looked at themselves and said, what are we doing? The war's over 5 years ago. We don't need any more people. So, did you ever see a Naval Aviation Cadet uniform? You're never going to see it. Went up in the Northeast there. No one knew who he was. They sent him to the Brooklyn Navy Yard to get discharged, all right? He got that. They're all saluting him. They have no idea who he is. One officer says, see that ship? They painted this side. They got to turn it around. You're in charge. Make sure they can turn that thing around, okay? It was a big thing, like a small destroyer or something. So he stood there. He didn't know what to do. He turned around. That was it. That was the job. And then he got discharged. So he came to work with me, and we worked up until not too many years ago. And we sold the store to my niece, and we retired. Now he passed away, so now I'm the only one here.
Sorry. Tell me, when did you meet your wife?
Meet my wife. Well, this is my second marriage. The first marriage I met when I had the bicycle store in Mineola, when I first started. And I was married a long time, like 20 years worth, and had 2 children, and got divorced, married a fantastic girl, new one, skinny, gorgeous, and
you're lucky you found love twice. That's great.
Found love twice, yeah. And to this day, people look at it and they say, I can't believe it. Where'd you find a girl that looks like that?
What's her name?
Cecile.
Nice.
We call her Seal.
Pretty.
Yeah. And when we were in France, found out that's a French name, Cecile. And so that whole thing's working good. And her birthday just passed. She's 79.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she looks like 59. And nobody believes I'm 83.
No, you don't look 83.
No, when I met the Republic by the P-47, I'm telling people stories. They said, you flew that? I said, yeah. He said, what war were you in? I said, this airplane was only in 1 war. He says, but you're not old enough.
Wow.
But I had that. I had that when I was a kid. I pedaled over to Mitchell Field when I was in the Roosevelt Field.
So you've loved planes your whole life.
Yeah, and I went. I got into the field. I found a hole in the fence. I went down the flight line. I watched the airplanes. I said, I can't believe this. This is great. So one day I said, let me try go through the front gate. So I pedaled over to the front gate, and the guy says, well, you can come in, but you gotta be 15 or 16, whatever he said. I says, I'm 17 or whatever, I don't remember what it was. I was 2 years older. He says, you're not too old for that.
Wow.
But anyhow, that was what the story was. I had a great time my whole life.
When you look back on World War II and your service, and hopefully you're very proud of what you did for your country.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I did more than my share.
I do too.
Of course, when I listened to other people, what they did, a lot of them didn't do too much. They just occupied space. Now, in the fighter group like we were, like I said, there's supposed to be 100 pilots. Grand total, I lost track. Let me see this. I think it was like 400 people in this group. You got to have all these people that make food, fix trucks, fix airplanes.
Big operation.
They don't see combat unless the Germans attack the air. But we never got attacked. So they never saw real combat. We were there combat.
You were under fire
When
constantly.
we come back from a mission, they will stand there waiting. Here comes 4 planes. Oh, they're all back good. If the 3 planes come back, they right away were going crazy. The 3 guys were the 4. Which one got lost?
Who's not coming back?
Yeah.
Well, we're very proud of you. That your fellow countrymen are very proud of you, and we thank you. And it's been a pleasure to interview you for the Oral History Project.
Thank you. I think this is great myself.